Good evening and welcome to the September 17th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome. First order of business tonight is the Waterboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing at the Waterboro Town Hall on Tuesday, September 17th, beginning at 6 p.m. to receive public comment on the November referendum questions regarding number one, the town charter revision recommended by the Charter Commission. Number two, the agreement with the Waterboro Historical Society to provide space to conduct town elections and/or store town records, and the proposed DPW garage. So, do we have, we're live streaming this, David?
Yep.
Okay. So if anybody has a question, you need to email it to the address or LO, right, LO@waterboromaine.gov. That is the email. And I will open it up to the public. First order of business is the Charter Commission report and their proposed changes. I don't see it.
I'll try to get up and go through it if you want me to.
Marina has a letter there that she wrote with the changes.
Okay, so, all right, so let me just go through the letter quickly. The report represents a recommendation of your elected, appointed Charter Commission. The Commission has endeavored to review, discuss, suggest updates to the current charter of the town. We look not just at the present, but with the vision of the next 10 years. The recommendations for amendments have been discussed over and represent our vision for the future of the town governance. This has been developed through a 10-month-long process, considering current and future challenges, review of the other municipal practices, Maine, and an understanding of traditional of our town. The Commission has recommended changes within the current structure of the charter. Our recommendations are presented to the people of the town of Waterboro for their consideration and adoption, and that will be Article 1 of on your referendum vote for the town. That will be held in November. After 10 months of research and some spirited discussions, the Charter Commission is pleased to present to the Select Board a proposed amended town charter. The revised charter is amended from the current charter, which is in content. Sections of the charter were combined to be user-friendlier, I guess, or friendly, along with updated guidance of the town governance. Therefore, pursuant to 30 AMRS section 2013-5C, the Charter Commission requests the Select Board to conduct its review of this charter by holding the public hearing to gather further comment and feedback. Finally, the Select Board is requested to place the proposed charter on the November 5th, 2024 ballot for approval by voters. This is Marina, who is the person of the Charter Commission. I would like to thank all the Charter Commission members for their hard work and dedication to the community and for their thoughtful input. Everyone for the opportunity to serve the community as a member of this group. I encourage everyone to read thoroughly and consider this report as they prepare to vote for the proposed changes. Dwayne, do you want to go over the, as a member of the Charter Commission?
I'll try to. Realistically, I'll get up so you can hear me, or everybody can hear me. As you go through the charter, there's 32 pages. In most cases, you're taking the word town meeting out because we don't have a town meeting anymore. The other major change is town administrator would be town manager. And the other one, the selectmen would no longer be selectmen, they're charter members. Excuse me,
Town council.
town council members, just to go along with the way the world's turning and as you go down through the 32 pages, section 2 all relates to state and town meeting, and most of that will be taken out completely because of not having a town meeting anymore. And if there's anything in there, it's been put into another section to cover it. As you go down through, it lists the selectmen in all articles, which would be town council. No major changes, just the wording, and a lot of your dates for your elections have been taken out, and it now reads to state regulations or laws, because they keep changing, and in 10 years, they may have something altogether different, and our charter would match the state laws and regulations, rather than having to come back and change this every time they change their ways of doing it, so. I think that is pretty well covers it.
Yeah, I think Article 6, which is the appointed boards, the planning board has been amended to regular members, with 5 and 2 alternates deleted, so the road review committee has been deleted, the zoning board of appeals amended to, in a second sentence, in shoreland zoning ordinance. Transfer station committee has been deleted, the conservation committee has been deleted, the fair hearing committee is amended to reflect state law of the fair hearing officer. And that doesn't mean that we won't have those committees,
Right.
but the board or the town council will have the authority
The
to,
only thing that is in this town charter is the committees that the state regulates. Your planning board, your ZBA,
fair hearing.
appeals board, or fair hearing board. The fair hearing board is going to be, it says member, not, it hasn't got to be 3 members, it can be a person from the town. It can't be a selectman or the town manager or anything like that. It'd be something that the manager and selectmen will appoint, so.
But it's not saying that you will have those committees, you can certainly.
Any of these committees don't, for anybody that's concerned about it, it doesn't say that we're doing away with it. It's only taking it out of the charter so that the selectman and the town manager can create any committee, any other committee. These are just committees that you've got to have. And if you, like right now, you don't have members enough to have conservation, you haven't got members enough for the transfer station, you're having trouble getting the, road review, these committees, if there isn't members enough or concerns enough, it can be deleted. It isn't saying that it can't be brought back at any given point. Now we have a public works. Before the road review did a lot of the planning out ahead, 5 years or 10 years, or looking ahead and trying to keep the road commissioner on a straight and arrow. That the public works director, town manager is doing anyway, so that's why the road review doesn't have any part of the work that they've had in the past. And these subdivisions, all of it is being done through the public works. If he thinks that he needs some help, he can ask the road review, and that, that committee can still be there, but isn't being used any part of what it was 10 years ago, so.
For the listing public, how long has it been since we haven't had a town meeting?
What are we, into the 5th year?
5 years.
5, 6 years?
Yeah.
5, 6 years.
Yeah.
And we did that because
Well,
We weren't getting people enough out to town meeting, 40 people at tops,
yeah,
and once
and
little-
according to the charter, we had to have a petition, which the Board of Selectmen generated, and we received, 25% of the previous gubernatorial election. That allowed us to put the vote to the people, and the vote was pretty overwhelming to do away with
town meeting.
yeah.
And if the townspeople wanted a open town meeting, there's ways in this charter to, with a petition, if there's things that in 5 years doesn't fit the town, a petition can change this book. I mean, there's ways of changing it if needed. So,
Yeah, you just reverse.
yeah.
They'd have
You gotta have a petition and sign, so many signatures and whatnot, but. Any other questions?
I had a few phone calls this week about section 305 under Article 3 vacancies on the council. It's on page 11. And the question was, the council will appoint or select an interim counselor rather than having it going out for a vote. Is that how that's reading?
I
But
believe it,
has to go to a vote at the next
I was gonna say,
scheduled meeting.
So the questions
at the
that I was-
next
that I-
scheduled vote.
Correct. The questions that I've been fielding is why would that not go up to a special election or it'll stay vacant? Instead of the board appointing somebody.
Well, we've had several instances in the past where we've had
Two,
four
yeah.
members, right?
Yeah.
And we elected,
The most that would be appointed is probably 3 months. If needed. If only one went out, I don't believe the board would appoint anybody, because they can get by. But in order to hold a meeting,
You're gonna have a
you'd
quorum
have
of
to have
three,
you'd
right?
gotta have a quorum of 3. So if something happened and you lost 2 or 3 members for some reason, they can And that covers the state law, I believe, David.
And that's why I'm just asking,
Yeah.
because you're in a better position
Yeah.
to explain it than
Well,
I.
yeah.
So, there's folks out
Some of
listening.
that falls back into MMA or state,
Fair
and it
enough.
this went through the town attorney several times, and we had 2 or 3 workshops with her, and
Yep.
this was some of her, it come from town council, so.
If it's gone through legal and then all set
Yeah.
with it, then I also am all set with it, but I
Yeah.
just couldn't answer those questions
Right.
because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So that's why I brought it up.
You got anything to say?
The only other thing that we did acknowledge was, during the public hearing that the commission held, one of the public had talked about, in the boards and committees, when you're making your mission statements for the purpose of those committees, they didn't see that they had any input into that. So the commission acknowledged their suggestion, and so along with the town administrative manager, they'll take input from the board or committee chairperson in order to develop the mission statement. So that was the
Mission statement.
yeah, the
yes,
mission
yeah.
statement
Yeah,
for
I
the
did not
purpose.
mention
That was
that.
the only change, but we wanted to acknowledge them. I think the only other thing that I can think of is we did go through, and the language is now gender neutral. So.
Yes.
All right, so if there are no, and I'm assuming that there's not a flock of questions in email.
I have not got any.
So this will be Article 1, which will be question 1. Shall the town approve the charter revisions recommended by the Charter Commission? Certainly, the Board of Selectmen recommend a yes vote. The Charter Commission, in all their emphasis, is certainly recommending a yes vote. Any other comments, questions?
So I think thank you to the commission as a whole. I think there's a lot of time and effort that was put into this revisions, and it is appreciated. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sure.
Okay, question 2. We'll jump to that, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to negotiate and execute an agreement with the Waterboro Historical Society to provide for space to conduct town elections and/or store records, provided that any expenditures required in connection with that said agreement shall be subject to voter approval at a future referendum. So, Matt, you want to?
So, to elaborate, this goes back to our conversations of having space to have voting. The facility here wasn't big enough, and we've had that conversation with the Historical Society. They're planning to build a building in Taylor House Field. We've had some conversations with the president of the Historical Society, Victor Wright, and this question basically would allow us to get the feedback from the public of whether we engage with them and to work with them to come up with a plan to utilize that space for voting. And then obviously, I think any financial impacts for that would go back to the voters at a referendum maybe in June.
Holding up records too, correct?
For the basement, yeah, there's storage in the basement, which would be climate controlled, which we're limited on storage of records here. We'd have that space over there as well.
With no great climate control in this building. I mean, you can keep it dry, but you can't keep it from molding, and there's still paperwork down cellar that is, we've spent thousands of dollars trying to keep the mold out of that, and it just,
Nasty, it's nasty.
it's nasty, yeah, it's just plain nasty, but we have no other place, and I mean, this is a golden opportunity to share a facility like that and not have the major expense ourselves, you know, and very close by to be able to store and lock up and whatnot. There will be even an elevator shaft to get to the basement, so it's a win-win situation on this proposed building that they're proposing to build and lease us part of it.
Any questions? All right, let's move on to Article 3. Question 3, see if the town will vote to authorize the issuance of general obligation bonds and notes in anticipation thereof to include the principal of about $2.6 million for the purpose of financing the cost of the design, engineering, permitting, site preparation, and other costs related to the construction of a public works garage located off Bennett Hill Road in East Waterboro, with details of such borrowing, including provisions the bonds may be prepared, subject to the call for redemption and without premium, and the dates, maturities, donations, interest rates to be determined by the Board of Selectmen, to appropriate the proceeds of said bonds and anticipation notes for the foregoing project, plus any amount necessary to refund the interest payments on any bond anticipation notes for the said purpose, and any cost of issuance of the bonds, all bonds, bond anticipation notes, and authorize the Board of Selectmen to apply for and accept on behalf of the town any funds available and appropriate said grant funds for the foregoing project. Okay, this has been endorsed by both the board and the budget committee. There is a financial statement, and to be perfectly honest with you, the outstanding bonds and interest in this community are at $141,474.44. This would bring us to about $3.922 million, and that is submitted by the town treasurer, Mr. Matt Boers. Questions, comments?
I'd like to go on record that I was not recommending a yes vote on that. I did abstain.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
Comments
So
would be that
we should make the majority of the board recommend it to endorse.
Okay.
Okay,
we don't owe a lot of money out there, basically. For a budget of our size, we currently owe 130 some odd thousand,
In bonds.
$141,000.
and that's really nothing.
It's a very low number.
Very low.
And the salt shed that you have down there at this point was a little over 800,000, and we have one payment left on that building, so,
So the town's been very fiscally responsible over the years, not to overburden ourselves with debt.
So I
Any,
have a question.
So,
Yep.
It's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but, so with a building of this size, are there anything in the plans about the Bennett Hill Road?
well, the Bennett Hill Road would be, or is improved beyond where the current site would be,
Okay,
all right? So it would be actually off from the Public Works area, right?
just before the
So
transportation.
that's already improved. there's no anticipation of changing or issuance of any bonds to fix Bennett Hill Road beyond the transfer station.
Gotcha. I just thinking, you're having more equipment, correct?
Yep.
It would seem to me that it would be a good future discussion to have not just one entrance for those vehicles, that you kind of keep together the thought of you already have two entrances
Yep.
and two exits, so it might be a future discussion.
And we own all the opposite side of the road from the transfer station all the way to Bartlett Brook,
Right,
right?
right.
So certainly, if we improve that property, we would have to at least provide access through the Bartlett Brook.
Right, it's just, yeah.
The,
Thank you.
the other thing that has been mentioned from time to time is the water district needs another site for a tower. And I need to keep my mouth shut, but, the water line at this point is probably gonna have to come up the Bennett Hill Road, which would widen the Bennett Hill Road from Route 5 to 02 and up as far as the transfer station to get to that tower.
Yeah, and your comprehensive plan had always talked about, you know, you had some acreage there that you could develop, and whether, I mean, that changes over, I don't know how long it's been since that, but it seems to me if that's the kind of conversation, then you have to look at the total
I
Bennett Hill
think
Road.
from a future perspective, that's a conversation that would have to be.
Yeah,
I mean, the road width is 50 feet, even though there's only about 22 feet of pavement up through there, there's still a 50-foot right-of-way that,
yeah.
I mean, some of them
Just-
don't own much more than what they park in, but.
Just kind of, you know, want to keep open a future thought, you know, instead of, sometimes we have to do things by, you know, just bits and pieces, just keeping future thought.
Solid.
Any other comments,
Just
questions?
just a couple of things for everybody. You know, obviously, I don't know if you were, if you looked at the pamphlet or not, but Jason and I have really looked at exploring of other towns and looked around at the garages. And this one here is really modeled after Buxton for the most part. It added 2,500 square feet of lean-to covered space for the equipment. I know there's a lot of scuttlebutt as well. We're talking about plowing, we're talking about a lot of other services. We're not looking to jump into plowing tomorrow, but we really are looking at a building that lasts us many years and that we can plan for the future. That we can start moving in that direction if need be, but we also need to prepare to be ready for the future. And right now, I don't know if the town of Waterboro is ready. Our building was constructed, the building we have now is the old salt shed that was constructed in the 60s, I believe, with a small lean-to put on the side of it, which was great, and that was put on back, 10 or 15 years ago. But it's mice infested, it's in rough shape. They've tried to do the best they can with what they've got to work with, but the equipment today won't fit into the building. So the unheated space, or the salt portion of the building is relatively small still. They're trying to maximize what they have, and so we're looking for the future. Do we see cost savings in plowing? Yes. Is it gonna happen overnight in the first year? No. Will be people to bid on it in 2 years? Don't know. We've advertised it. I mean, we probably advertised it just like everybody else has over the years. We didn't go door to door to asking people, but we published it like we always would. Anyhow, but the facility, you know, the enclosed heated facility was 12,000 square feet, and 2,500 square feet was the lean-to. Based on the numbers that we have at the $2.6 million, we've looked at USDA Rural Development Loan Grants. That's a relatively low interest rate loan, under 4%, and The repayment is based on 25 years. And looking at it, we're about 156,000 and change is the annual payment. The way the USDA loan grant program will work is we would work with a local financial institution to execute the mortgage or the loan or the bond for the first couple of years with a construction period. And then the USDA program would come in and pay that loan off, and it would be taken over by them. So we'd roughly plan on 25 years. That represents currently today it's an 11-cent impact to the mill rate. So on a $500,000 home, that's $55. If we back out the cost of the salt shed that will be maturing in FY '26 at a $70,000 a year payment, we're looking at, you're roughly half of that on the mill rate. So 6 to 8 cents.
So you guys you're gonna publish a flyer and mail to every home, right? So, this will, it will show up in your mailbox. Please don't throw it away as junk mail, because we really seriously need to consider this. Any other questions, comments?
I will say that we'll do our best to get this and the charter out on the counters at the local stores too, so that people, if they don't get it in the mailbox, can pick it up. But same thing with the charter, we're gonna try to mail out a flyer so that everybody knows.
So the charter is on the website currently?
Yes,
So, that's available if you want to look at the changes, and you have to go through all of the strikeouts and additional funding and, incentives and all that stuff.
if
But-
anybody wants a solid copy, there's some right here tonight, and there'll be some here in the office to pick up, so.
All right, any other comments on any of the 3 referendum questions? I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Just move on to the regular agenda. Anybody have any announcements this evening? Dwayne, anything?
Nothing.
David?
I do not.
Gary?
No, I don't.
Kevin?
Nope.
Additions or deletions of the agenda, I think we're all set there. We have no appointments, public comment. Correspondence, we do have the financial reports, contract deputies reports for the month of August, Water District minutes of August 7th.
Just a comment, but on the water district minutes, I see they're still hauling water to the facility from time to time. Evidently, they don't have water enough to supply, and now we've got another 40 or so units that's gonna be hooked into that. They're saying they got water enough, but to hook them units in over to East Waterboro, but what's happened to the line, we're still hauling water.
Yeah, I guess that would be a question for
Yeah.
them.
And
Maybe you
and
can,
the other comment is, if they're hauling water and they ain't got water enough for our fire department, so it's a little on the scary side.
okay, anybody who wants any of those correspondence, give us a ring to Laura, and she can certainly make sure that you get them. They're all on the website, in the current packet. Reports and staff initiatives, so selectmen's reports. John, I'll start with you.
Nope.
Gary,
I have nothing.
Dave,
I have nothing this week.
Dwayne.
Just the charter, and we should finish up next Tuesday night as far as everything goes, so it should be our last hurrah for the charter, so.
And I'm all set. Matt?
Just a couple things, but tomorrow, a reminder, we have the age-friendly lunch at noontime at the Snowmobile Club. I'm assuming if you show up, it's be fine. So we'll see you tomorrow for that.
What's the meal?
Tomorrow it's a barbecue. They're doing burgers, hot dogs, salads, and there's the desserts. So work has continued at Friendship Park with the pickleballs, courts. Irrigation, I believe, has already started this week. They put some new loam in, and it actually looks really good. If you haven't checked it out, swing by, look at it.
Who's doing the work?
Irrigation design.
Irrigation design?
Yeah.
And the name of the pickleball company? Pickleball Maine?
Pine State Asphalt out of Lyman.
But isn't it called Pickleball Maine or something? Isn't there another name for it? They specialize in
They
those courts.
specialize in pickleball courts, but they travel around the different states.
It appears that the one at Torrey Hill in Buxton, they seem to be redoing that tennis
Court.
court
Into-
for,
Yeah.
if they've been working on it for, I don't know, a
Yeah.
couple of weeks now.
Take
so-
your fence is there right now,
Yeah.
putting a fence up to separate the two. They're gonna come back in the spring and resurface, or paint all the lines and stuff. It's getting a little chilly they want it to really take well, so they opted to wait till the spring. Bill's been in there, he brought loam in, some of the pipes in the ground, they're gonna continue, probably have grass seed on the ground by Thursday or Friday.
We're still working on the well down there, well options. We've tested the old one that's out back. It's probably not going to be viable, but maybe just work on it still, I guess, maybe. But we'll look at other options. Talking about ARPA, I think we've concluded what we're going to do with the LED signs. We received 2 proposals. Our local sign shop has come in the lowest. We received a couple of correspondence from other sign companies that they weren't providing proposals to us. So we've been beating on that for the last 2.5 months, and we need to move forward if we're going to do anything with it. Paving's been completed on Middle Road, Evergreen Drive, Ricker Lane, and Holmes Road. They look good. They've also started on Ospey Hill Road for some ditching and replacement of driveway culverts. And for the next meeting agenda, I'll give Laura a copy of the proposed contract with York County Sheriff's Office for the contract deputies. There's really no changes in it, some grammar. So. that's it.
Anything else, Matt?
Thank you.
Questions? All right, we have no new business tonight. I would assume that we will bring back the Eagles.
As far as I know,
Okay.
hopefully the next meeting.
Yeah.
And the workshop, maybe with recreation if they get their
Okay.
deck facility.
All right. No old business, other, discuss a vote to accept the minutes of the September 3rd meeting.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Discuss a vote to accept the updated minutes of the August 6th meeting. And that was the change
Yeah.
that you made the last time. From 50.
5:55.
I'll
Six.
move to accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Opposed? You're all set with the week's action list?
Yep.
Discussion of agenda items? Anybody that gotta be in by next Thursday, noontime? Hopefully we have, bring back the Lions.
The
Lions
Eagles.
and,
Eagles.
oh, Eagles, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're on a crunch.
Yeah, because they gotta be crunching, right?
Mhm.
I just need a signature, there is nothing this evening, so, with that, I'd entertain a motion to.
I got one announcement, I will not make the October 1st meeting, so,
Okay,
unless you wanna bring it to Freiburg Fair.
We could go Zoom, yeah.
yeah, we could zoom you in.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Good night.